Hey, my name is Jasmine. I've been a part of Professional Investors Guild for about about 3.5-ish years, and here's my story. So in 2017, my husband seemed really interested in real estate investing. It's something that I kind of heard about a little bit before reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I didn't really take much of it or want to go in a direction of doing anything with it. So, him being interested in it kind of piqued my interest a little bit more, like, okay, well, hey, well, maybe this is something we can kind of do together. So we came across basically one of those gurus coming into town, kind of telling you about real estate investing. I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to kind of learn a little bit about real estate investing and seeing how we could start trying to do something either on the side or to replace what it is that we're doing right now as far as working. So we went to this seminar. It was really great. I learned a ton. At the end of it though, they ask you for $50,000 to go ahead and have them walk you through how to get into real estate investing. For us, it was like, I don't know if that's kind of the best idea right now, but we'll sit and we'll think on it. But we did use some of the things that they said to find bigger pockets, to find actually Matt and his group, and we were able to get involved and go to their meetings. And that was a little bit more our speed in that, we could kind of take things a little bit at a time, learn a ton, and be involved really with a community that had the same intentions versus having someone come in, showing you what it is that they're doing, and then leave town, and you're stuck not really knowing what to do next. So in 2017, really we were wallflowers for 2017, 18, 19. We did a little bit of work of, mostly a lot of learning. We listened to the CDs, we tried our first mailing list. Our first mailing list, we sent out direct mail in 2018, got calls back and didn't know what to do with them. So it was actually kind of funny. But after that, we got a little bit more of a routine with what we were doing. I was pregnant in 2017, 2018, I had my kid. So we're still like going to the meetings. A lot of you guys may have seen him around strapped to me while we're sitting and watching Matt do his thing on stage. And he's just been a part of the process the whole time. So how we do our deal finding is we were doing driving for dollars. So Saturdays and Sundays during Jackson's nap time is the time where we go throughout the communities and drive, take pictures of properties, go home, manually take those pictures, put them on a letter, and mail them out to people to let them know that we wanted to buy their house. Our first deal came in April of 2020 from one of those letters, so it kind of worked, although we did not get a ton of responses, so we weren't really hopeful in that at first. And I would say from that first deal, one, it builds confidence, but it also gave us an idea of the things that we need to make sure that we're asking whenever we're dealing with trying to get a house from a seller. So we went through the whole wholesale course that Matt gives out, and one of the questions that kind of stood out was, what price were you thinking of getting for your house, basically? Like, what is it that was in their mind that they were thinking of selling their property for? With this caller in particular, my number was around 30 grand. I'm like, he's definitely going to ask for about $30,000. I think it's something that we can work with. But he didn't really know. He had inherited this house from his dad. He's a lot older. He had been renting it, and really he had a real desire to get out of the property because he had a renter in there that was causing him issues. So his number was like 17 to 20,000, which was way below what I thought it was going to be. And I think if I wouldn't have asked him what his number was, I definitely would have tried to give him more money than what he really needed. And so with that deal, we were able to wholesale it to another PIG member. And our first deal, we made $13.5 off of that transaction. We had another deal that happened about a month later. Like, we kind of signed the contract with the seller around the same time we were selling the other one. That one was a big fixer-upper type deal. When my husband and I looked at it, my husband's like, I don't want anything to do with it. There's literally a hole in the bathroom. Like, we don't have the vision that people who do rehabs have, obviously. But I knew it was a good location. So it was a good location. The city mobile is planning on doing some things in that area. So I knew it would be worth something to someone. We were able to get someone that was interested in that property. There were actually a couple of people that were interested in that property, and on that deal we made about $4,000 on it. So basically our first 2 months of actually doing some work, 4, 5, 6, 7, we made about $17,500 in a 2-month period, so that was pretty good. Our third deal, which to date is our largest deal, was a 15-unit complex, and so that one, you know, we found and we were able to kind of negotiate with the seller on a price. And I think with this one, what I learned is, you know, you can never really tell what people's motivations are. You can't, you know, prejudge really what you think they'll be interested in doing. You just kind of have to ask and see what they say. Because he had a price that he was set on that didn't really leave us room to make any money really. So we, you know, gave him not an idea, but just a thought of, okay, if we can get it closed faster, would you be interested in taking this amount? Which he was. So we were able to go and market it at a price that was more appealing to other investors in the area. Then 2 PIG members walked through with us. One of them, you know, had a roofer come in and kind of take a look because he could see like, oh, it looks like it needs some roofing work. So with that roofing work and an estimate, you know, I was able to go back to the seller and say, hey, this work looks like it needs to be done. Would you be okay with splitting some of that cost with us? Not knowing really what he was gonna say, but you know, you never know unless you ask, and he was. So he took $20,000 more off that price, and so I was able to give the person buying it from us, you know, about 15 grand in a discount from what he was planning on paying, and give us 5 grand more in profit actually. So that was our first big deal, and we made 40 grand off of that. So in a span of about 3 months really, you know, 40, 50, about 57.5 is what we made off of those 3 deals. So I think that's really, really good.